What's up, guys? Ivan Carranza here, and welcome to Bass Tone Tuesday. Today, we're gonna talk about 6 steps on how to practice challenging songs or challenging sections of a certain song. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been working with one of my students on Dean Town by Wolfpack, and so forth. And he was having, or is having, a hard time knowing how to practice all the different sections of the song, the bass lines, and how to connect them as well. So I want to show you what I showed him and what we've been working on in class. I'm going to show you the steps that I personally use when I have trouble with a song. Now, the very first thing, and this is like the prerequisite for all that I'm going to talk about, is that you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to put in the work, be humble, and accept that a challenging song or a challenging portion of a song is going to take time to really nail down as best as you can. You're going to have to spend time on this. You're going to have to, practice several days or weeks or even months to get something, challenging so that you can play it comfortably, That's like the very first thing. It's going to take time. You're going to accept that. Now, the very first step would be to break down a song or a passage into smaller chunks. So kind of like baby stepping the process. So if you have a phrase that's like, just to use the same example as Dean Town, you get this phrase, for example. Now in the original it's a lot faster, but if you're having trouble with this, you can break it into smaller chunks so that you can work on them separately and then put them together. I'm going to talk about that in later, but just be aware that you can break down phrases into very, very small chunks. It can be as little or as small as one single beat, so you don't have to take a whole bar. You can just take one beat or a couple of notes of one beat, but get them to sound clean and so you can play them comfortably without tensing up or rushing or dragging. So remember, you can break down a phrase into chunks. Step number 2 would be to, of course, know the notes that you have to play. If you're not sure, about what you have to play, you're gonna be guessing and thinking, oh, how does it go? Do I have to go here or this note or here? You gotta know the notes. It doesn't have to be on time. You can just be aware that you have to play, for example, here, then here. Just know which notes you have to play. Which takes me to step number 3. Step number 3 is to play the phrase not in time. So just try to link all the notes together without worrying about the time or the pulse of the song. So you have to play this phrase, for example, which is, a sequence of 16th notes, but you're having trouble with that. You can just go and repeat that until you're completely sure about the order and which notes you're gonna have to play. That way, you're not spending processing power of your head and your hand thinking about which notes and the order of them, but the movement and the direction of all the things that you have to play. And it's gonna help you to get used to playing the phrase even though you're not playing it in time. This takes me to the next step, which would be to understand the subdivisions that are happening in a particular phrase. Here we have a chain of 16th notes, so the pulse is all the time. We don't have any syncopations or pauses or anything like that. But if you have something else, for example, something like that, there are pauses, there are syncopations, there are notes that are longer than others. You have to understand how those notes are placed on the grid of the beat, or you can understand the pulse. You can repeat it with your mouth, even if you're not singing the right pitches. So, for example, if I take the same example here, I know that I can do ta 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 ta. I can speed that up or slow it down. Ta 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 ta. I have the pulse going. I can also slow it down. Ta 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 ta. Right? If you are aware of how it sounds like either sped up or slowed down, you can play it a lot easier later. This takes me to the next step, which would be to play it slowly first and then build up the speed from there. And this is probably the point where a lot of people overestimate their ability and they start too fast, and then it doesn't sound clean. It sounds kind of sloppy. So just be aware and know that you can play it like very, very slowly, and no one's gonna judge you for that. I'm always surprised when I learn something new that's challenging, that I try to play it at speed first and it doesn't work out. And if I like really, really slow it down, I'm talking like and start there and then bump it up 4 BPM or 2 BPM, play it a couple of times, bump it up 4 BPM or 2 BPM, and then go from there. How easy it is to play it later at speed, and how comfortable I feel, because I've played it like super slow, so I know exactly how much my fingers have to move. I know exactly where my fingers have to go, but I played it slow first and then increase speed. Like I said, most people start way too fast and they don't want to slow down enough. But be aware, no one's gonna judge you if you have to really slow down a song. The last point would be that once you have one whole phrase under your fingers and you can play it comfortably, maybe even not up to the full speed, but you can play it at a decent tempo, you can do the same thing with another phrase and then put it together. So for example, if I have this phrase, that is a fairly long phrase. And if I started with only this, once I have that under my fingers and I can play it probably like this, yeah, that speed. Once I'm comfortable with that, then I can add the second one. And put it together. And repeat that. Until you're like super comfortable with that. And from there, you can start connecting complete phrases and then putting it together, 4 bars, 8 bars, and then play eventually the whole song. And this is the process that I personally use when I have to play something that's challenging, whether it's because it's too fast or technique-wise it's very advanced and complicated. But this is what I do. Maybe there are other methods. If you do something else, please let me know in the comments down below. But I'm gonna repeat the steps pretty quickly again, just to remind you. Step number 1 would be to break down the phrases or the song into smaller chunks. Step number 2 would be to know the notes you have to play, exactly where the notes are and the order of them. Step number 3 would be to play the notes or the phrase without time or pulse. Then step number 4 is to understand the subdivisions that you have to play and internalizing how it sounds, either sped up or slowed down, and you can sing it or clap it at least. The next one would be to start playing it slow first and then building up the speed. And the last one would be to connect different phrases by repeating the process and then joining them together. And as a bonus step, you can record yourself Can be with your phone only, or if you have a DAW and a computer recording interface, that's even better. But record yourself, listen back to your playing, analyze what you just recorded, and then improve on the areas where maybe the playing was not that clean, or you were speeding up or dragging. But listening back, and correcting your mistakes can definitely help you to play better and to get you a better sound or tone. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments how you practice challenging songs or challenging phrases. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.